Welcome back, golfers. Today we are going to work on our legs again today, and we're going to talk about compression and extension in the golf swing. So stay tuned. So compression and extension, we have to look at almost every single athletic movement out there, and there is compression and extension in the athletic movement. So when we talk about compression and extension in the golf swing, we need to look at it as a way to create power and speed and help with our timing in our body. So today we're going to do some drills to help us with compression and extension. We're going to look at a guest today. His name's Joe. He's the head pro out here at Dairy Creek Golf Course. I've been working with him and we've been working on his compression and his extension in his golf swing. We're kind of going to go through his little journey of the last 4 lessons that we've done, and we're going to see kind of where his legs have started and where those legs are kind of going to. And we're still in the process of getting him where we want to go, but you can see there's great advances in the way he's moving his legs. So compression and extension could be very natural for a lot of you. It could be something that isn't natural for you, and you just have to train your body to do it in the correct pattern and sequence. So first off, let's define what compression is and then what is extension in general. So compression in the body, athletic movement, is going down. And it's kind of like a squat. You can see it from this angle. It's like we're driving down, we're coming into a squat, and then extension is the opposite. We're gonna extend out, extend up. It's like if you're gonna jump, you're going to compress and then extend. And this is a great way for us to lighten up our joints as we drive through a golf ball, and it's what all the athletes use in all other sports to create power. So today we're gonna talk about timing of how that compression and extension should happen. And timing of the compression and extension is super important with how our hips are able to keep moving. So compression and extension directly correlates to when we fire our glutes. And if you haven't seen that video, check that one out. I'll put the link up top. And that's a great one to really to train directional intention and firing through the golf ball and what muscles should be working on. So you should watch that one and then come back to this one, or watch this one and go to that one. Either way, they're both going to be great for the way that you want to understand how the legs should work through the golf ball. So when we talk about golfers and the problems that come in with compression extension, I see 2 areas, one with the compression and one with the extension and when it happens in the swing. So the big one with compression is we see that compression at the beginning of the golf swing. We see a lot of knee flex and sit at the beginning. It creates tension in the legs and the body. So you're now muscularly balancing yourself rather than structurally or skeletally balancing our body. So when we get too squatted down here, we get to the top of the swing, well, there's nowhere for us to compress. We're already into a deep compression. If we compress more, we're really deep into it. And then if we came up, we might do it at the wrong timing. Or it's gonna be hard for us to, at that point, rotate our hips because we're too deep in our squat, too tight. Tension's a killer and an enemy to a good golf swing. So when we start, we wanna have those knees slightly bent, but we wanna feel very tall in the lower body. Stand straight up for me. And just kind of feel how light the lower body is when you just stand straight up. That is skeletally balancing yourself. Now get into a deep squat. That is muscularly balancing yourself. We don't want to go muscularly balancing yourself when we get into our setup. We want to skeletally balance yourself. So we're in our setup, nice and light with that lower body, tall with that lower body. Not locked out, but tall. Now as we take the club back, we're going to stay tall. Now this is where we talk about compression. So compression happens as we start the downswing. When we start making this transitional move, we're gonna squat into it just a little bit, just a touch. Because if you're in a position where you feel like the bottom of the transition, where weight center's back 50-50, we feel like we could be in a position where we could jump, you're in the right position. If you get to the top of the swing, make your transition, and you're like, nope, can't jump from there, I got no compression. Well, then you're not gonna be able to use any of that going through the golf ball. Slight bend with the legs, nice and tall, skeletally balanced, take it to the backswing, still nice and tall, good rotation, pressing that hip back. Now, as we come down through, making that transition with the lower body, squatted a little bit. Now this is where we start creating that extension. So now the club's coming down, we're starting to turn, still have the flex in the lower body, hands get down closer to our pocket. Now we're gonna start extending up and through and pressing towards the target. So those legs will compress and extend towards the target. Compress and extend towards where we want to go. And the bulk of the extension should be happening through the impact zone, not before. And we're going to look at our guest today, Joe, to look at where he started, where he was doing it, which is where most of you golfers get it wrong in the extension, is it happens too soon. So let's check out what Joe's doing. So this is Joe. Joe's the head pro, like I said, of Dairy Creek Golf Course. And he came to me with a lot of inconsistencies. If we think about Joe's background, he used to do high jump. So Joe loves to create a lot of spring in his legs. So we really had to figure out and communicate when the spring should happen. So let's look at Joe's first swings, one of the early swings we were working on. And you can see the compression angle that he starts with. And he gets to the top, he pretty much maintains it. He almost compresses a little bit into the top. And as he starts down, as soon as he starts down, you can see that leg starting to want to spring. Knees square up, legs are really starting to extend at this point. Before the golf ball, almost completely extended. You see even the glutes in his body just starting to fire before he even gets to the ball. Gets through the ball, and you can see his shoulders start to pass his hips because his hips are just locked up, not able to rotate very well. And this is what's causing a lot of his issues. There's a few other things we're working on, but today we're just working on, looking at the compression and extension in his body. And this is something we really had to work hard to get him, so he's timing this up. So we don't want to see that extension happen too soon. Like right there, that's too soon. That's now locking up his hips. He's having trouble rotating. And now he's just having to do it all with his arms and his shoulders and his hands. So after about 2-3 weeks of working on this with Joe, this is kind of where we've gotten to. He still has trouble keeping, compressing down into his downswing, but the ability for him to stay in his compression longer, at least to the golf ball, has gotten much better. You can see his rotation through the golf ball has gotten much better as well. And he's starting to hit some really good iron shots, and he's starting to really feel the difference. So like all of us, we're all working on trying to get better, and we're just trying to, incrementally make our changes. But you can see how the flow in Joe's golf swing is now really starting to come around. He's getting that little bit of spring happening through the golf ball instead of, all of it happening here. He's still holding that little compression through there, knees are moving better, and now he's able to spring through the ball. So still some work to go, but huge improvements we're seeing with Joe. And what we're going to do now is look at one of the top players in the game and see what they do. So Rory Mcllroy is one of the top players in the world and probably uses the ground and his compression in his legs better than most golfers out there. So let's look at his swing really quick. At the top of the swing, there's his load. See, he maintains that flex in his knees, nice and tall in the lower body. Now as he starts down, you can see how that compression now extends. So now he was at 150 degrees. Now he's at 138 degrees, which is more compressed, and then you come into it, and you see that left leg start to extend, right leg start to press forward and then extend towards the golf ball. So his intention is towards his target, and then works through. So that compression and extension gives him a massive amount of power. So if you haven't watched my videos on transition and how to move through the ball correctly, how the footwork should be, check those out in some of my past videos. But when we're into our bottom of our transition and we're trying to start extending the right direction, we're gonna start working on a few drills to get us that proper feeling through the golf ball. So the first drill we're gonna do is very simple. We're gonna keep it very short. So on the backswing, we're just gonna take it to belly button height and pause. Right there. We're gonna get into our squatted position, nice and evenly weighted, if not just a touch of weight to the left side. Knees are slightly square, if not slightly open to the target. And then from there, we're just going to drive through to the finish. We're gonna go about 3/4. And as we're driving through that golf ball, what I want you to feel is you're moving weight to the inside of that toe, and our back trail heel is off the ground at impact. So try to do this drill at least 5 to 10 times so you really get the feeling. You want to really feel that drive from the inside of that leg, driving, kicking those hips open. You're going to feel the trail knee going straight through those shoelaces, and you're going to feel that heel off the ground. The pressure should not be squishing and creasing your shoe. It should be working to the inside, maintaining the structure of your shoe and being in that position as we drive towards the target. So once you practice that enough times and you really get the feeling of just pressing internally, getting the direction and the intention to go towards your target, you'll start feeling that extension happening through the ball rather than before, kind of like we saw originally with Joe. So once you've done that short drill enough times, now we're gonna start working on the compression of the downswing. We're gonna do this in parts. So we're gonna do my 1, 2, 3 drill. I do this drill a lot, but this is a great drill to work on your transition, work on your compression, and then have enough time to think about when the extension happens and create intention to go the right direction. So the 1, 2, 3 drill, very simple. We're gonna take the club, start at the beginning. We're gonna take it to the top of the backswing, that is 1. We're gonna make our transition, which happens from the lower body, or this shoulder to that arm stays very connected as we make 2. Now we're in that squat. So we're here, tall, there, squatted, knees wide, compressed into that position. If I was gonna jump from this position, I could jump from that position. I would jump straight up. What I wouldn't want to see is if you're on your toes and out like this and you jump forward or backwards. You know, we also don't want to see the legs dead straight because you're not going to jump from that position. So 1 to the top, 2 to transition, hands nice and high in the compressed position, and then 3 to finish, driving through, incorporating that heel feeling off the ground and the intention moving toward the target. So let's do that really quick. Good setup position, take it away into 1, transition into 2, and extend into the finish. And you can do this without a ball, you can do this with a ball, you can do this a pre-shot routine in your natural swing, or you can take it to the golf course and use it as your pre-shot routine. Take it to the top, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And just try to feel how that body opens up, the compression happens, and then from that position, it's real easy to have intention to move towards the target and extend in the correct way. So we don't extend too soon, which is gonna hurt our rotation in our hips, which we saw with Joe. And once you get the 1, 2, 3 down, bring it into your golf swing, try to get that feeling so we get to the nice, good, solid, tall lower body setup. Take it to the top of the swing, and then work through it. If you work on this enough, it should get easy. It should become routine, should become habit. And once it becomes habit, you're gonna get more consistent in your golf swing. You're gonna create more power, more drive, and more rotation through your lower body, and it's gonna feel much better on your lower lumbar and your back as well. Watch the golfers that play this sport the best on television. Watch how they compress and extend through the golf ball, and then try to copy that. This is something that all of you can do. Do the work at home. Check out my at-home swing training videos. Click on the link. You can do these drills at home. Create the repetitions every single day or a couple days a week. It'll more easily move into your natural habits. And remember, if your feet aren't working, your swing's not working. I'll catch you guys next time.